Hi all, it's Vanessa Love. All right, so I know I took a couple of days away from this. I've been slightly busy, and again, I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to talk about. Oh my god, I have plenty of things to talk about. So I think it takes like a couple of days for it to really germinate, and then I'm gonna film you know, uh, a couple of videos in one day, and then be fine. All right, so I did a video about people who you should avoid in business. So people who are gonna fuck you over, people who aren't open, those type of people. And so I want to talk about the people you should look for in business. And oh, there are many. So I think for me, one of the things that has helped me the most is this my friend Steve. And Steve and I have known each other for like 9 years. We met at a meetup. I think it was for writing. Vaguely remember it was for writing. It's been so long. I know it was meetup. That's what I know. Um, we've been friends ever since. And we don't talk too often, but we know each other well enough. He started a business that was basically an online news magazine. Uh, yeah, news, uh, just online news thing, newspaper. And his articles have been picked up a couple of times from AOL and a couple of other places, who try to pass it off as his own, which is really interesting. And so the reason why someone like Steve is really good for you to connect with is because Steve knows business stuff that I have never considered, and I've exchanged his little bit of wisdom to one of my supervisors, and he's like, "Well, damn, that's that's very reasonable," and it never dawned on my supervisor to be so practical. It's not that it never dawned on him, it's just that it that he is very practical in other ways, but he it just never occurred to him to look at it from this point of view. And so I still use that algorithm or that math that Steve taught me, in how I do everything. And I've talked to Steve about this, and I've been like, oh my god, you're like a godsend. And he's like, no need to thank me. I'm always like, do you want anything? I will send anything your way. And he's just like, no, we're good, we're good. And those are the type of people that you want in your life. Like the people who give these really good things to you and support you and are there as your cheerleader, and don't really want much in return. And I think that that's amazing. And I wish everyone had that, I mean, he's a friend, but he's also occasionally I'm just like, hey, business time. And he's like, all right, we'll meet. And he's great with that. He meets me within 2 days. I mean, I can't even ask for that for much of anyone else, and then it's always something helpful. And because we've known each other for so long, he knows okay, here's kind of the way that you work, and here's how that might work against you. So here's the answer to your question. And I'm like, ooh, okay, yep, let's go. And yeah, as I said, I think having pretty much he's a business mentor to me, and I think that that's lovely. So I'm also part of Rotary. I was thinking about it today, and so Rotary does these really cool projects, and they do them locally, and they do them internationally. And the local ones, I feel, are these little pieces. I mean, they're expensive, but they're these little pieces of just I care for you. It's like that person who buys you your favorite candy whenever they go to the store, because they're like, oh yeah, this candy bar reminds me of you. Or if you're not a candy person, they'll bring you a trinket. They'll bring you you know or a piece of fruit or something that they're like, oh yeah, I remember one time you had blah 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 blah, and you know I'm thinking bananas. I'm like, pull out a banana out of your, out of your purse, that one time, and like, here you go. So like, with Rotary, I think like, they care in these like very slight ways that you wouldn't notice unless you were part of Rotary. Like, I went into a graveyard one time. I love graveyards. It's not like a weird thing. I'm like, I went to a graveyard to like go visit someone. I'm like, no. Like, I was walking through a graveyard, and I'm doing my thing. Like, my friends are with me, and we come across a bench. The bench is from Rotary. Like, that's like a small little like, here you go, and you're like, oh, here's this thing that Rotary did. And like, I think that that's lovely and wonderful, and like, so like, on the small scale, having a friend who's like, I think of you, and here's the tiny bit of way that I can show that I care about you and I think about you, and being a part of an organization that does the same, for the community, if that's something that you want. Some people get too busy, they don't really care about doing that, but like, most people, I think, I mean, of course, I'm skewed because I'm like, well, I'm in Rotary, so like most people, I mean, all of my Rotary friends who are in Rotary, I think that they do want to do well, and like having an opportunity to volunteer your time, or if you don't have the time, at least give your money to someplace, like, that helps in that small way. And those are the people really that you want around you. And like, from my perspective as a therapist, I think that having a great support group also, or like great support system, support group's a little bit different, support system for yourself, especially in business, is vital. I mean, that's just true for life. If you have a group of people who genuinely want you to do well, and like are there for you when you aren't doing well, they're not fair weather friends, like, stay with them, like, do really well, like, make sure you have those things, because like, it's so important to feel like, even when everyone else in your community is against you, that you have your crew, you have the people who are like, yeah, we got this, like, that's definitely what you want. All right, so I hope that you can find those people in and around, like, your area, and that you do well. All right, thanks for watching.